Welcome to the EJ Ward FieldView training series. In this introduction video, we're going to be going over who this course is for and what we cover in the course in the videos to come. So the first thing that we have is, who is this course for? So the first person I believe this course is for administrators. Administrators are people that are responsible for administering the entire system, and that's usually the back end as well as some of the front end. So we have all of the users that are inside of the system. They might be dealing with some of the servers and the services in the background. They might be dealing with going through audit trails and looking at reports of what users are doing. And they could also even be people that are adding in hardware to the system. So you're adding a site, a tank, a terminal, a pump, something like that. The next person that we have is the operators. With operators, these are the people that are actually in the trenches, if you will, every day. They're the ones that are doing reports. They're looking at transactions. They might be adding vehicles. They might be adding employees, all the assets of the system. Typically, they're the ones that are looking at the data and using the data to actually send it out to other people, or they're using it to come up with a plan for the fleet. Now, the first thing that we have is what's covered in the administrator training. And really, it's what's covered in the entire FieldView training, because I recommend that all the administrators should view every video for the FieldView system, even if they're not going to use it, because it really helps to understand how the system works to be able to administer people correctly. This goes in for roles and seeing who can get what access to what roles or what pages, and all that information. It really helps if you know the entire system. So the first thing would be adding, removing, and managing users, roles, sites, and assets. We have changing the password policies inside of the system. This isn't just changing a password, but this is changing what is required to make a password. So how many capital letters do you need? How many passwords does it remember so you can't use the same password over and over again? We have the full system overview, and then we also have reviewing the audit trail. And reviewing the audit trail is just simply going through and seeing who did what, at what time, what machine did they do it from, and what did they change inside of the system. The next one that we have is the operator training. And with the operator training, it's not going to be as much as the administrator training. So I do have a couple of sections to watch, and I have what's covered over that. The first thing is just going to be a basic system overview. And then we have our site management. So that's your sites, your tanks, your terminals, and your pumps. Then we have our asset management, which is your vehicles and employees. And vehicles can even be something like a gas can or anything that you can really fuel. We have the report management. So this is going to be how to make your reports, how to view the already canned reports, as well as how to schedule your reports to be emailed out to you. And then we have the status pages. So what does all that information on the status pages mean? The next thing we have are alerts and alarms. All these alerts and alarms, not only to show you what they are, but how to set them up so that you can get an email or a text message when any of these happen. We have our fuel management at the very end, and this is just simply the fuel. So how to set up a pump that it is a diesel pump instead of just being a regular pump or an unleaded pump, and how to change all of this information and what types of fuels that our system supports. The next slide is for the operators, because the administrators, I recommend to go through the entire FieldView training system. For the operators, though, I have a couple of sections split out in what videos you should watch in those sections. So the first one that we have is section 2, which is the Ward ecosystem overview. I recommend that you watch the overview of the Ward products as well as the hardware configurations. Now, the hardware configurations can be a little different depending on how your system's going. So there are on-premise systems, so you have a server inside of your system or inside of your business, or you have the hosted solution or the SaaS solution, and that's software as a service. And this is something that EJ Ward hosts out in the web, and then you have your terminals and everything that are talking to those servers out there, and how everything communicates and it works together. The next one that we have is section 3, so a FieldView overview. It'd be every video on that section. Then we have section 5, which is our site management, and once again, you would have every video in that section. And the same thing with our section 6, which is the asset management. Then we have our section 7, which is the fuel management. We have section 8, which is our transaction management. Section 9, which is our reports. We have section 10, which is our status pages. And then at the very bottom would be section 11, so our alerts and our alarms. And this concludes the intro video to our FuelView training series. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next videos when we get started.